everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Lori from Kid Made Modern. I'm so glad everyone can join us today. We're super excited to be joined with Michaels today for another class with Tessa from Studio Jane. You guys, if you've taken one of our classes before with Tessa, she's amazing. So we're super excited to do a fun craft to get ready for the big day on Sunday, Mother's Day. So Tessa, why don't we start it off?
Great. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, you guys. I'm so excited to craft with you. And we are going to be making these fun little pom-pom letter M's for mom or mama or whoever is a mama in your life. We're going to go through all the steps. You can definitely make a different letter as well if you want to make this for someone else special in your life. And then you can easily make a smaller version as well and put it on a little card if you want to make a card version. Or you can just make a larger version as a little piece of artwork to gift to mom or someone special. So we don't need a lot of supplies today. I'm going to be using a paper plate as the backing on this letter M. You can definitely use cardboard or construction paper as well. You can even draw a letter M instead straight onto paper if you don't want to have a hard backing on it. But yeah, I'm just using simple paper plates is what we're going to cut the letter out of today. And then I have a whole bunch of pom-poms here. So all these pom-poms, tons of different colors, are all from our Kid Made Modern Arts and Crafts library. And you can use any colors that you want. You can put together a little color palette if you want of just the select colors, or you can definitely do the full rainbow, whatever you want to do. Maybe it's mom's favorite colors you want to pick out. And then from there, we're going to be using a hot glue gun. This is going to be the easiest method to glue all the little pom-poms down. But if you aren't crafting with an adult today, or you're not comfortable with the hot glue gun, then you can use just white glue as well. It'll take a little longer for your pom-poms to dry if you use white glue, or you can always use glue dots. So if you have glue dots at home, just a little sticky dots, then those will work as well. And then the last couple things you're gonna need are a pair of scissors and a marker. I'm just gonna use a black marker. You can use a colored pencil or a crayon. It's just gonna be what we wanna use to draw our letter M's on our plates. And other than that, if you wanna add any other embellishments, such as we added a little ribbon here with some yarn on here, or you can always add in some little rhinestones or sequins. All of that's optional. If you want to add anything else on top of your M's at the end, then you can get creative. All right, so if you've gathered all your supplies, I'm gonna switch our camera over here and we'll get started. Okay, so our first step is going to be drawing our letter M. So again, I'm just using a paper plate here. I'm gonna flip it over. And then using a marker, we're going to draw a block letter M. And you can make it as big as you want. For instance, this one is pretty much the entire size of the paper plate. But if you want to make it smaller, like this one, then you can do that as well. And you can use a straight edge to do this if you want. If you want to, you can grab a ruler real quick, or you can grab even another piece of paper or an edge of a book if you want to use something straight, or you can just freehand draw it as well. It's totally up to you. So to make your letter M, what we're going to do is draw a line going down one side of your plate. And then we're going to draw a little line. And this one at the bottom, we're going to make these two about the same length. And then we're going to go up, back down. And now we're going to make this. All these edges are going to be about the same length across so that our block letter is about the same size all the way around. We're going to go down to the center here and then back up and over. And then we'll go straight back down, and running out of room on my plate here. So we can even this out as we cut it, or we can do another one if you did what I did and started too far over. So we'll go through these steps one more time just so you guys can see and follow along to draw another M. So you can make it big or small. So start on one edge of your plate and go all the way down. And then we're going to draw our lines at the top and bottom to be about the same size. And then we'll go down at an angle and back up and then over. And we'll keep this guy going up. So that's going to be a really basic way to draw a block letter. You can measure it out if you want to. We're going to cut this out. And then we're going to cover it with pom-poms so you don't have to worry about super straight edges, and we can even it out as we cut it. Okay, so I'm going to take my scissors and we're going to cut up the edge of our plate. I'm just going to cut this edge off. It's easy to remove any bits that you're not going to use so you can get your scissors close to where you're cutting. All right, so then I'm just going to cut a longer edge. And if you aren't using a paper plate, again, you can use cardboard, or you can use just paper as well. Some construction paper will work also.
And for our younger crafters that are crafting with us today, feel free to ask a grown-up for help. I know that cutting, especially a paper plate, could be kind of hard. So feel free to ask a grown-up that you might have with you for help on cutting out your letter.
Yes, that's a great point, Lori. Yeah, if you are having any trouble with either gluing today or cutting, always ask for help if you need some. Or you can always draw your letter and then just cover it with pom-poms and you don't have to cut it out at all. So you could easily draw it on a piece of construction paper or even on the back of a paper plate, and then you can fill the letter with pom-poms, maybe color around it or write a cute message around it, and you don't have to cut it out at all.
Okay. They're asking Tessa if they should plug in the glue gun now so it heats up. I think it's fine to plug in for at this point. Yeah, it's totally fine.
Absolutely. And you can always put something underneath your glue gun if you are using one today. Sometimes a little scrap piece of paper or another paper plate. Glue guns typically start to leak as they heat up, so you can always put something underneath it. All right, so now you can see we've got our M here all cut out. And again, you can make this in any size that you want. You can make them big, small. If you're using different size plates or cardboard, then you can make them really big. So you can really make it custom for your mom. Okay, so if you feel like any edges are not lining up, like this side's a little higher, I'm just going to trim that down. And then we're pretty much ready to go. All right, so our next step is going to be gluing all of our pom-poms on, which is the fun part. You can get creative with color like we talked about. So again, I pulled out all sorts of different ones. These are all from the Kid Made Modern Arts and Crafts library. So there's some really cute ones that are all different colors or some with sparkles, and you can mix and match sizes. So as we did in the sample one here, you can see we used everything from big to tiny ones. So you can really add as many as you want, and you can always layer it as well. So we'll do that a little bit. We'll cover the majority, and then if you feel like you want to add a little more texture, you can always glue more and more on top and make it as thick or as textured as you want. All right, so for ours, I'm going to do a selection of different colors. I really like these little multicolored ones, so I'm going to use those and then pull out some of the colors that are in there, like more of the purples and blues. And I think that will be a pretty little color palette. But again, use any colors that you want. Definitely let us know what pom-poms you're using. And if you don't have pom-poms today, you can definitely do this with fuzzy sticks or pipe cleaners. You could cut those down into small pieces. You could cut circles out of paper instead, or you can just doodle on your cutout letter. So there's definitely lots of ways you can decorate a letter M for mom without it having to be a pom-pom. Okay, so there's no wrong or right way to start this step. So you can easily just, I'm going to start in one corner. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue in my corner, and then we're going to take our pom-pom and push it right on top. So with the hot glue, it dries really fast, which is great, and it doesn't absorb into your pom-pom. So again, if you're using a white glue today, then just once you set it down, just leave it there for a while and let your whole M dry before you move it. They'll just be able to move and shift a little bit longer, but they will eventually dry. All right, so then again, we're just gonna take pom-poms, different ones. I'm gonna switch back and forth between different sizes and put them next to one another. And I think it's fun to have different sizes varying throughout. That gives you a lot of different heights as you go. And again, once we fill it all up, we can always add more embellishments or layer more pom-poms on top if we feel like it needs it. All right, add in some bright green here. And I always like to kind of push them up into one another as I set them into the glue, and that will just help make sure that there's no paper showing through. Take a little sparkly pink one here, and again, kind of press it and then push it up into the pom-poms next to it. And you can do a border all the way around if you want to first, or you can do as I am and just start in one section and work my way all the way around. And definitely let us know what you guys are using at home, what color scheme you chose, and maybe why. Is it your favorite? Is it your mom's favorite? Or maybe if you're making a letter for someone else besides mom today, I would love to know what you guys are crafting at home. And so then you can see I left a little gap here, so I can put a little one in that little section. And I'm going to do a darker purple. Again, these ones are kid-made modern pom-poms. So some of them are sparkly like these ones, and some are just the basic pom-poms. So you can switch back and forth, or you can always add some glitter afterward if you want to. Definitely.
Angelique, who's with us today, Angelique, she's making one for her grandma and mom. That's super sweet.
So cute. I love that. Yes, there's a lot of different mamas. So it might be your mom or your grandma. That's a great idea. Maybe it's a mom next door or an auntie. So there's all sorts of people to celebrate on these fun holidays. And as I'm going, I'm just kind of picking a different pom-pom so that I don't have too many of the exact same color touching. I always like that way it just kind of shows the different colors and it doesn't all have the same colors right next to each other. And I'm not making selections really ahead of time, just going one at a time and adding them in.
Let's see, we hear a few people do have some different ideas. So Lynn is saying you could use cotton balls dipped in paint or splashed with food color. Yeah, that would absolutely work.
That's a good idea.
Adelie says, instead of doing it on the plate, can you do it straight? Can I do it straight into my card? Absolutely, that would work as well.
For sure. Yeah, if you are going to make it into a card today, you can definitely do it this way on the plate and then glue this onto a card. Or you can just draw your letter directly onto a piece of paper and then make that into your card. You don't have to cut out anything. So you can just draw your block letter and then just fill in your pom-poms in the outline the same way we're doing this.
We have some crafters visiting us from Columbus today and also New York. So that's really exciting. Mia's from New York.
Nice. Thank you for joining us. That's so fun. I'm all the way over in California, so it's fun that we've got going all the way across the entire country. Right, so I got one whole leg just about done. I'm going to add in one more tiny one at the bottom. And for this, you can also put a little bit of glue right on your pom-pom as well. Either way works. So now I got one whole portion complete. And we're moving on. So I think it's fun to really mix up the sizes as well. So we've got a lot of little ones filling in. So sometimes I like to add in a couple large ones in some strategic spots so that you know that you're going to use those too. You can always pull out a couple, make sure to use some different sizes.
Yeah, let's see, Angelique, she's using, doing hers with fuzzy sticks. That absolutely works. And someone also asked if they can use buttons, and I think that's a great idea.
That's super cute. Yeah, we're basically making a collage. So we're using one material, which happens to be pom-poms today, but any material you have at home, you can use and do the same method. And I think that buttons is a great idea.
They also have a crafter from Palm Coast, Florida, which I'm sure it's beautiful out there today.
I'm sure. And again, just switch back and forth. And as you have little holes, you can fill in with little pom-poms. So sometimes it's good to save little ones toward the end. That way you can make sure that you can fill in any little gaps like we did on that one side. And if you guys are using different materials today, then again, you can easily filter in anything you want. Maybe you want to collect some fun things that's for mom or something that is her favorites. And I think that's a really cute idea. And there's no right or wrong way to craft. That's always my favorite thing to remember, that when you're making something, that making it for yourself or as a gift, that as long as you're having fun and being creative, that's all that matters. Add in.
Amanda has a suggestion. She says you could also cover the back of the M with pom-poms or whatever you're using to not show the back. That would be awesome. I mean, that might be a little bit, I believe if you're using it that way, it might be fun to like make a wall hanging out of that. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, you could definitely cover both sides, or cover this in paper or paint as well. But yeah, covering the whole thing in pom-pom so it has a 360 view all the way around is a great idea. And you could easily add in a little piece of yarn or something underneath your pom-poms on the back. So you could hang it as a wall hanging or a little mobile, especially since both sides would be decorated, that it would be pretty if it could spin even. And you can always use this as a card itself as well. So you could easily write a note to mom or grandma or whoever you're gifting it to on the back, and you can do that as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can customize it for someone special. Grabbing another glue stick here. If you're running out of hot glue, just make sure to get have another one handy. Oftentimes it goes faster than you think. And also, if you are using glue dots, which was another option that we talked about at the beginning, I just would use one glue dot per pom-pom, so that way it really can adhere. And so that might be a lot of glue dots, but if you have a whole roll or whole sheet, you should be able to make it work. And as you can see with this one that we're making together right now, there's no real pattern to it. I'm just switching back and forth through those few colors that I picked at the beginning. So you don't have to have a full pattern ready or in place. You can just kind of add to it as you go. We're almost done filling this up, and then we can also go through all the steps of how to cut and make a little card, so you guys can do that at home as well.
Someone's asking, can I use something else without pom-pom? So yeah, you can use any material. As Tessa mentioned, she's essentially just making a collage. So any sort of fun material you might have around the house. It could be magazine, it could be fabric, it could be anything. Any other ideas, Tessa, you wanted to?
Yeah, I think that fabric, or like you said, yeah, magazines, you can definitely cut out shapes out of paper or felt and layer those. You could cover it all with rhinestones or sequins. Really, any craft supplies that you have will work, and you're just going to layer them all together, whatever you're using, overlapping some of the shapes, maybe if you're using felt or paper. And if you are using a different material that's maybe a little bit larger or harder to use, you can always glue it all down, and then once you're done, flip it over and trim anything off the edges. So if you're using paper or fabric that's maybe a little bit larger, harder to contain, then you can just flip it over and trim it, and that way your M shape will be really obvious still.
Someone also said yarn, which is an awesome material that would be really fun on this.
Yeah, that would be adorable. You could even you can do yarn straight down on it and do different patterns with yarn, or you can wrap it as well. All right, I'm just looking now at my M, and anywhere that when you're looking down at it, if you see little bits of your paper plate or cardboard showing, I'm just going to go back in and add in more little mini pom-poms from there. You could also easily add in, again, different materials, or if you want to do a mixed media, so maybe you want to add in some other little sequins or rhinestones or little paper cutouts in between pom-poms as well. You don't have to just do one type of material either. All right, we are almost done covering this up here. And again, we're just covering the front of this, but as one of you suggested, you could easily flip it over and cover the back as well, or do something else on the back. That's totally up to you. You can always then glue this on to a larger piece of paper, or it can also just sit, whatever you want to do to make it custom for your mom. All right, so now that our M is covered in pom-poms, again, you can always go back through if you wanted to add different colors or more of them, and you could glue some more on to give it a little bit more height in different places. And that's a really easy way to add a little bit more dimension to it. Or if you feel like you're missing a color somewhere and you want to add a little bit more, and just add a little bit of glue, and it will just glue directly onto the pom-poms as well. All right, so now that you've made your M in whatever size you wanted, you can now add it to a card if you want to. So what we're going to do is I just have a large piece of construction paper here, and you can cut this down if you want to, or you can make an extra large card, whatever you want to do. So to do so, I'm going to look here and see, I'm going to place my M on top so I know how big I want my card to be. And then I'm going to take a ruler and go up next to it so I know that it'll fit here. I'm going to draw a line and to cut this paper down. And again, you can use the whole sheet of paper if you want to. I have a 12 by 12 inch sheet of construction paper here in a little peachy pink color, but you can use any color or size. I'm just going to cut this down so that it will be about the same size as my letter. Okay, so now that I've cut this down, you can just set any scrap paper away. I always like to keep all my little scraps because you never know when that's going to come in handy. And then this, I'm just going to take one end and fold it over to the other. So just line up my corners here and then fold, and now you've created a little crease there and a little card. So now this guy can go right on top. And if you want to glue yours down to make it a card, I would just take a little bit more hot glue and put a couple little lines down the back of it. And I'm going to center this right into my card. And you can do it any way you want. So this one I wanted to open this way, but for this one, I folded it the other way. So it's going to open sideways instead. And that's just going to be the way you position your M. So if you want it to open this way, then put your M, the top of your M where your crease is. If you want it to open sideways like this one, then put the side of your M along the crease side. And then from there, you can easily add any extra fun little elements. I think yarn is always a great added detail. So you can take a little bit of yarn, we'll tie a little bow here. And you can wrap it around the M first, or I'm just going to tie a little bow and then we're going to glue it on. And you can do multiple bows if you want to. So just tied a little bow here. And take a little bit of glue right on top of my M. And then press my bow into that. So we added a fun little bow. You can even take other little rhinestones and place them throughout. If you want to do something like that, those guys are fun. You could put them in the center of your bow. And then so you've got a whole M here ready to go. And then from there, you can draw a cute message to mom on the inside. Draw a little picture, or you can even decorate the rest of your card too. So you could always draw a fun little outline going all the way around. And these are just some other ideas to give you guys some inspiration to make your card custom for your mom. And these are just some fun.
Lava that's with us today. She's using glitter with hers. That would be super, especially if your mom likes glitter. That would be
yes, if your mom is a sparkle fan, glitter is a great idea, and that's an easy thing to do. You can either add glitter on top of your pom-poms, or you can do glitter on your card afterward. Maybe like this, since I'm drawing a little border around mine, you could always do a little glitter border around your letter. And again, you can always do a different letter. So we drew an M today, but now you know how to do a similar project. You could easily do a different letter. Keep this technique in mind for Father's Day coming up next month, and do a big D for dad, or maybe a letter of someone's first name for their birthday. That's what I always love crafting with all of you guys. That way you can come up with all sorts of fun ideas and you never you can just keep reusing them for different projects.
Yeah. And if you guys want to rewatch Tessa's craft today, I know this was a quick craft, but what's fun about this is that you can just do as many as you want. And you know, what's better than a homemade card than anything, right?
Absolutely. I love a homemade card. I know moms love a homemade card. And again, if you don't want to turn it into a card, then you can just leave your letter as is. And this one, I just tied a little ribbon around it to put a little bow there too. So you can just gift this as a little piece of artwork that can sit on mom's nightstand or the mantle, take it to her work, or anything like that. So you can make them in a ton of different ways and make one for every mama you know.
One of our crafters today is putting googly eyes on theirs. That is awesome. And then, oh, Agnes is asking, do you also make a custom thick envelope for it? It's thick, so it won't fit in a normal envelope.
Yeah, you can definitely make an envelope for it. We didn't go through any steps today to make an envelope, but you could definitely do that. And I would just use more construction paper to construct your own envelope today and just make it bigger than the card itself is, so that way you can fit it inside. Or you can always put it in a box instead and maybe wrap it so it feels like a gift as well as a card. Or you can just give it to mom just like this.
Awesome. And a few other messages here. Nyla said they used the leftover paper plate and cut out a crown and glued it on top of the M. That is such a good idea. There's never anything to waste when it comes to crafting.
That is a great idea. Yeah, I have all these little scraps here from our paper plate, like all these little bits that I'm sure you guys have too. So definitely using this to cut out little things. And a crown, you know, mom is gonna love that. She deserves to be queen for the day. So that's a great idea.
For sure. And a few other things. Remy definitely wants to tell you thank you and good job. And Madeline,
thank you
so much.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, you guys. And I know it was a fun craft that I love doing with you guys. And there's so many different ways you can do it. As you can see, all three of these all look a little bit different, even though they're basically the same craft. And so I'm sure whether you use buttons or fuzzy sticks or yarn today, that yours looks spectacular and mom's going to love it. So fun crafting with you.
Yes, and just so you guys know, in the chat right now, you can see we'd love to see you share your things with us. So make sure to tag Shop Studio Jane and Michael's and Kid Made Modern. That would be awesome as well, so we can see your finished projects. And the hashtag for all of our crafts that we're making today is hashtag Make It With Michael's. And this is being recorded. So if you want to watch it again tomorrow and 24 hours to get a refresher on how we did that, that would be good. Fuzzy sticks are actually pipe cleaners. That's just our name for fuzzy sticks. Yes. That's a little secret name that we have for them.
Yeah, so you can use pipe cleaners or fuzzy sticks or anything else, especially if you have the Kid Made Modern Arts and Crafts library, then you know that there's tons of different things. So you can cover your letters with sequins or even wooden craft sticks, little craft popsicle sticks, anything like that will all be a really fun thing to do. And then next week, we're going to be back with Michael's here to craft again with you guys. So next week, we're going to be making these fun little campfire artwork using felt and wooden popsicle sticks. And I'm looking forward to crafting with you guys again next week.
Okay, everyone. We'll see you again next week, hopefully. Thanks, everyone, for crafting with us.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day, guys.